You know, to the person who invented zero, thanks for nothing. What's going on, YouTube? So it is the weekend, which means that we're inside of Cold Harbor, inside of the Hollow City, to go over the weekly vendors. This week, we are continuing with the plant theme, which I will just note, a lot of people sleep on plants. Now, plants, if you don't want them for your house, you might not want to buy them, but I will note that a lot of people buy these for housing contests, and this 3,000, 1,500 entry point, you can usually make a lot of your money back by selling these on the open market. You're probably going to have to wait a few months before people are interested in buying these, based on the fact that if they're interested, they're just going to buy them right now, but they are still a decent investment if you are in the market to make a little bit of gold, or if you're into decorating your house. And before we jump into this next half of the video, we're obviously inside of Cyrodiil to talk about the next Bad Bamba Jamma. I also wanted to see if you'd be interested in changing the formula for how they do these. So normally, what I'll do next is I'll go, hey guys, there's this set, this is what it's used for, there's this set, this is what it's used for. I was almost thinking that we could do almost like a blind react, where I, slowly uncover, I hide, a vendor from myself, I slowly reveal, and I go, oh, it's a good set, oh, it's this set, or oh, it's this set, almost like we're, getting a little bit of a surprise, together as we kind of go through it. So if you're interested in more of a kind of like surprise reaction to see if the vendor's good, bad, and different, let me know, but let's jump into the vendor. And we start off with the Tormentor set, which is a set that exists that has a use somewhere. Basically, when you leap, charge, pull, you taunt the enemies to attack you. Unfortunately, not very good. Comes from a very old dungeon. I believe it's Darkshade Caverns 1 and 2. And the set's not really used a whole lot. Definitely not something that you're going to want to need to gold out or purchase. Trinimac's Valor is next. When you cast a damage shield, you call down a fragment of Trinimac that heals you and your group members. And it damages enemies nearby in a 5-meter radius, which is about 16 feet. And this can occur every 2 seconds. After a 2-second delay, and this can occur every 5 seconds. This is, again, one of those sets where it's really hard to find a utilization for it because it's not going to be used by a healer, because healers care generally more about the buffs that you're giving to your team, whereas the damage is really nothing that's going to be helpful because it's in, an area too. It's not going to be utilized very much for PvP, but the next set is pretty good for PvP. It's really just an easy proc set. This is the 7th Legion set. Comes from the good old Bankerai zone, which means you could sell this if you'd be so inclined to. When you cast an ability that increases your physical or spell resistance while in combat, you gain 341 weapon and spell damage and 341 health recovery. Why I like this a lot is it's super easy to proc. It's one of those sets that I can easily suggest to you if you're interested in getting into PvP, because you should be casting abilities that increase your physical or spell resistance, and not only does this get you in the good habit of doing that, but it also rewards you by giving you weapon and spell damage. Now, the health recovery, not so great, unfortunately. 341 health recovery is going to be halved in Cyrodiil, and that's assuming you don't have anything negative on top of you that would make that even worse than halved. So that's not going to be as helpful, but it's certainly better than nothing, so I think 7th Legion is actually a really good set. Here's the thing, though. Some people are going to be wondering, what are the gold map prices going to be looking like? What is going to be the cost to upgrade something from purple to gold? And we're going to look at that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. The Invigoration set is a set, and this is one of those sets that I think that they could go back and relook at, because basically, when you cast an ability that costs resources, 125% stamina, you restore a lot of stamina, but it occurs every 45 seconds. In the year of 2023, this could easily occur every 25 seconds and be totally fine, or 30 seconds, or 15 seconds even, almost, maybe. So I think that they should relook at some of these sets because of power creep and the abilities that other sets have. So unfortunately, this is not a set that I would suggest. And if you're a developer watching this, can't imagine what the odds are of that, but you should look at some of these sets and go, do they still need to be this garbage? Next up, we have another set that kind of suffers the curse of almost being good for PvP, almost being good for PvE, being good for neither. How does it fall into that category? Let's talk about it. So, When you deal direct damage to a target within 12 meters, you create a 5-meter area. And this is great. PvE players love this. They love the little areas of damage. Quickly move forward and then returns, dealing 3,550 shock damage to enemies, and applies minor veneration, causing them to deal 10% less critical damage. Here's where it all falls apart, because if it was take an increase 10% critical damage, we'd be in the business. If it was for PvP aspects, if it was, take additional damage, we'd be in some business here, or stun the enemy or anything like that, we'd be in business. But this falls into the category of what am I going to need to have a boss deal less critical damage? The answer, almost never. And then we have Shadow Rend. When you take damage, you summon a shadowy Clanfear. It attacks for some magical damage, and it gives a minor main, reducing the target's damage done. Now, for PvP, that can be pretty helpful. But the Clanfear can be summoned once every 15 seconds. Here's the problem. There's just so many better things that you could do. Maw of the Inferno is an infinitely better monster set that summons a pet if you're interested in those little pet builds and things. That's where this set falls short. And unfortunately, that's actually going to wrap up the vendor. So really the only thing that was decent in here was the 7th Legion ring, which means that we now have to gauge what is the total cost to upgrade with the new jewelry crafting changes. And so a lot of the vendors are in this 10 to 12K price range when it comes to these, which means that to upgrade, it's going to cost you around 96,000. I'm leaning more towards the 12,000 because these 10,000s have been snatched up very, very quickly. So 96,000 gold to upgrade, which means that if anything blue, so let's take, for example, the golden vendor prices, let's say the prices there were 200,000, or 150,000, depending on overland, blah, 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 blah. That would basically mean that the purple version would need to be worth over 60,000 for you to basically confidently say, yes, I should buy the ring or the jewelry piece as a whole versus buying it as a purple and then upgrading it. So the golden vendor has always been this magical place of getting golden gear. And when the upgrade mats became more affordable for everybody, it's kind of lost a little bit of its ability to be good. I will say, though, that if you get a blue piece of jewelry, it's almost definitely worth it because it's going to cost you a significant number of upgrade materials for 3,000, and then you got to pay, the gold on top of it. So I would say that it's fairly balanced. My frustration, though, is that it wasn't supposed to be balanced. It was supposed to be the best in slot place to get golden jewelry, and it was supposed to give you things at a premium discount. Here, it's kind of like, well, this doesn't feel like a premium discount to me anymore, so I almost feel like they need to chop off another 25% of the golden vendor cost. It will always be a great place to get dungeon gear, in my opinion, because sometimes, for example, you get your purple ring from a veteran dungeon, and you got to fill out the sticker book pretty much to get a second one because of how curated drops work. And that's a bit unfortunate, but that's going to kind of be my thoughts and breakdowns on the economics of the golden and the jewelry cost, because I know that's a big hot button topic right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We are still doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is leave a like on the video, be subscribed. A lot of you lovely jevelies are subscribed. We passed the 42% threshold. Let's shoot for 43. And a random word be flashed upon the screen. It was not Instapot, which I did talk about yesterday. That was more just me going on a tangent about cooking and things, but I do appreciate that you guys called out that it was very weird that I went on a tangent. So that was very funny. Technically not the word, though, for the video, but stay tuned and you might see it.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
To the person who invented zero, thanks for nothing. Thank you guys for sticking around past the post outro. I won't keep you too long. My only thoughts are, so what I really want to do for the golden vendor is start doing a blind react to kind of where, I don't know what the vendor has. I kind of slowly, what I'll do is I'll basically block my screen almost like, I can't see anything. And it's just, a bunch of random things on screen like you see now. And then I'll slowly be able to move things around. Imagine this is just a black box and I'm uncovering what the vendor has, and then I'm reacting to it being good or bad or garbage, stuff like that. I think that'd be a little interesting. Add a little razzle dazzle to the Golden Vendor, especially as it's kind of losing its. I don't want to say it's glamour, but I definitely think it's not as good as it used to be. It's not as cool as it used to be. So let me know what you guys think of that idea, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.